What up, Raf leaders? Welcome back to my channel. We're on High Street in Kingston. We're here to take a look again at the World Trade Center, this building that's going up here on High Street. That's the World Trade Center building in Georgetown. Well, let's see the context. It is obliquely opposite this building, which is the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority. That is the building from which all of the aircraft industry is regulated. This is Barrack Street. Barrack Street in Kingston. It's a bit cloudy this morning. And I just want to give you the context. So we're at Barrack Street in Kingston and High Street. This says High Street in Kingston. It says St. Joseph's Mercy Hospital is that way. Sign says this church, I think is what is it? Protestant church. I don't remember which denomination. And across the street there, that is the Anglican body. The Anglican bishop resides in this building. So that's the head of the Anglican church. That's their what's it called? Home. The home of the Anglican bishop. So let's get back on this. So that's the context. We're at Barrack Street and High Street in Kingston. On the street you're going to find a lot of embassies. I think IDB has a building across the street. That's the IDB building. And over here, that's the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority building. But coming up on the west side of High Street, that's the new World Trade Center building being constructed. I think this is the Cuban embassy behind this. Behind this wall you can see the Cuban flag. Right, that's the Cuban flag being flown there. And immediately opposite, this is China National Offshore Oil Company, that is CNOOC. Remember, China owns 25% of the contract with ExxonMobil. It's ExxonMobil and CNOOC that operates the oil industry in Guyana. So next door, there's a half-constructed building. I'm not sure what this is. Might be an office building that's going up, but this building is the World Trade Center. I visited from time to time to see what progress they're making. Remember, this building, the World Trade Center, is a brand that right now is being franchised around the world. I remember going to the World Trade Center building in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Last time I was in Malaysia and discovered that they had a World Trade Center building over there. And this is the one that's going to carry the name in Guyana. This building is being constructed by Demerara Distillers Limited, DDL. They have purchased the rights to the name. And they're constructing here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8-story building. It seems rather small and pretty low rise for a World Trade Center building. That is a building that carries the World Trade Center name. But we're going to have to wait to see exactly what materializes, what it turns out to be. For now, it's supposed to be a building that promotes the Guyana brand. In other words, products that are made in Guyana are going to be marketed to the world from the World Trade Center. So that's the concept of the business, right? The business model. Across the street here, I think adamantium. I don't know what, that's maybe one of the mining companies. But next door, I think in the distance, there is the yoga center. So a lot of people travel to Bali for yoga, to Asia. There has always been a yoga presence in Guyana because, of course, yoga came out of Hinduism, and Hindus have always been in Guyana, at least since colonial times. But here is the World Trade Center. This is the context of the building. It's going to be the... So as I understand it, DDL is going to operate this building as a talent pool. They're going to hire marketers, global marketers, and if you are a Guyanese producer of any kind of product, you can obtain assistance in marketing your product globally. Let's say you make plantain chips, or you make leather slippers, or you make leather bags. The World Trade Center is going to provide the resources to get you to market those products all over the world, whether it be in Asia and Europe, in North America, Africa, and so on. So that is the business model. It's about providing local manufacturers in Guyana with the resources to reach global markets, and that is what is the business model, the purpose of the World Trade Center. But that's what it looks like right now in Georgetown. Thought I'd do an update here because people seem to have an interest in it from the last time I presented it, and I thought I'd eventually track the progress and tell the story of the World Trade Center. We're going to resume recording in this neck of the woods again because it has some very important mysteries and stories to tell, because like I said, this used to be the end of the line for the railroad in Guyana. People are still arguing with me about Guyana not needing a railroad because the population is too small. But remember guys, this used to be, we literally had a railway that ran all along the coast in Guyana. And I don't understand why people still don't understand why. You can't argue that Guyana's population is too small, since when in 1950 and 1960, up until 1970, there was a railroad that ran all the way to Rossignol. So there are people alive today who can tell you that they used to ride the train to Rossignol from Georgetown when they were kids, right, in the 1970s and 1960s. So this is where the railway line ended, and there are people who were wanting me to investigate this building at the end of the line here. So we know that the trains were, that is the carriages and the engines were repaired in this block. So the line, the train station ended. You can see that building in the distance. That's where the train station was. You could join the train from a platform at that location. But beyond the train station, this was the rail yard, which is now a parking lot for the Guyana, Ministry of Finance. But people wanted to know what with these buildings, what became of these buildings, and that's one of the things I'm going to have to do specifically in the coming weeks. We're going to explore some of these buildings. Somebody said that one of those buildings was a milk factory, which led to the discussion about all the various factories, manufacturing plants that Guyana had. Yes, during the Burnham era, because there are people who think that the word Burnham was a curse. Look, I'm not political, but I'm here to point out and to observe all the things that Guyana manufactured before 1992. There was a Tapir factory that manufactured vans, right, locally assembled vehicles. There was a GN&L, I think, a factory that manufactured refrigerators and freezers. I remember when I was a kid, in my home we used a refrigerator and a freezer that was manufactured in Guyana. And so people are telling me that this building used to be a milk factory. A milk factory. So we're gonna take a look at it on the inside to see exactly what it was. Somebody says it was a shirt factory. Somebody contacted me and said he knows that this building, these buildings at the end here, used to be a shirt factory. I don't know if this one was the milk factory, because some people are saying this building that is now the buy hue trading building at Cowan Street, we're now on Cowan Street, that this building used to be the milk factory. And on this side, this either was the repair for the engineering station for the train, or it was a shirt factory. All right, so people have been contacting me all over the world, people who used to live in this neck of the woods and who know it. So we're going to take a look at the inside of these buildings, see what we can find, clues to what these buildings used to be used for. I think some of them are still being used. And the one at the end here seems abandoned. And that raises the other issue that all of this riverfront property needs to be rezoned for residents, commercial and residential use. So you move all those factories out of the city. I support that view. This is the molasses terminal where Guyana exports molasses for making rum. And right up the street is the Guyana Light and Power Authority. Those stacks, smokestacks, are for engines. This is the Kingston Practical Instructional Center. This is like a government center for training local technicians and I guess administrators. So we actually did see this coca in the last video. So you look back along Cowan Street. Right, so what we're saying is that this area, which is now an industrial zone, as you can see, this is the inlet, the coca that lets the river in, and that's the river, that's the Demerara River. See how close we are to the Demerara River, but we can't really see the river because all of this area is being used. But like we said, these two buildings, this building at the end of the at the end of this reserve, these buildings says transport and harbors. So apparently this used to be transport and harbors department. But you can see there, that's a old railroad. That's an old train. Let's see if you can see better this way. Right, that's an old train. Right, what you see there is an old train carriage. That's an old train carriage. You can see the wheels. Let me see if I can show you very closely. I don't know if you can see it in this frame, but under the carriage, those are the doors to the carriage, and you can see the wheels under the train. I can see it here in reality. But it says here that the building was the Transport and Harbors Central Workshop. See that it says